Well, I'd like to welcome you to another segment of A Day of Light and Love 2025. This is an online free event that's intended to support, uplift, and inspire people around the world who are experiencing a sense of loss, sadness, grief, or separation from those that they love most during this very important of seasons. And in this segment, I am overjoyed to have with me um, Sofia Fernandez Montero, who is you're a lot of things. You're just a lot of things. I know that you have the Sophia Vibe Consulting. However, her time is spent is a full-time astrologer, tarot reader, and mystic who is known for helping people gain clarity through magic. We have a topic, Sophia, of resilience. And I knew you coming back this year, you would have so much to offer because you're kind of the epitome of that. And I want to just let the audience know that it wasn't that long ago that you made the decision, what, 2, 3 years ago, or is it already
Almost
more?
4 years.
How
Yeah,
long?
almost 4 years. It's gonna
Almost
be
4 years
4 years.
ago. So Sophia's originally, she was born and raised and did her education in Mexico and then fell in love with a Canadian. It's just, I mean, resilience is all over it. So you've been residing
Yeah,
in
you're
Canada.
right. Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, Jeannie. It's such a pleasure. I love everything that you do for the
Wow.
community. And not even like just here in this space that you do every Christmas, but like for someone who knows you, and maybe not everyone in here knows, but Jeannie works a lot for her community and she's constantly being of service to others. So I just want to acknowledge that and thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate being here right now today. And just as you said, I am like resilience. You are resilience as well.
Mm.
So I love it. And yeah, moving on to what you just asked and mentioned. I moved here to Canada. I'm in Ontario. So I moved here 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. And it's been one of the hardest things I ever done in my life.
Wow.
Is like the entire I don't want to call it is resilience, everything that I went through, but it was like a whole transformational process for me. An entire transformational process. I always tell people I never wanted to leave Mexico. There's people who have like a calling that it's like, oh, I want to go somewhere else. I want to go to another country. I want to go here. I want to go there. I wanted to travel, of course. But when people would ask me, like, where do you want to live? I'm like, I love Mexico. I want to see Mexico. I still love Mexico. I think it's like my favorite country in the world. Um, but I just felt like life in Mexico was so easy and so simple. But then I fell in love. And I always love new adventures. Like they excite me so much. And when this relationship started developing, and I was faced with the option of like, we can stay together if you move to Canada, I just thought, I work remotely. This is one of the easiest things ever. Well, I was wrong. And like people tell you, moving to another country is not easy. And what I've noticed when I did it, and what I've noticed when I have conversations with other people that do it, is like when you move from your place of origin to go to a new place, there's something in your subconscious that shifts when you're away from your safe space. And
Mm.
you start noticing wounds, you start noticing different sensations that you don't actually know where they're coming from,
Mm.
that they're arising during the change. And I don't think this is just when you change countries. I think it's when you do a deep change that feelings start arousing. And what I was faced with were two options. The first one was to victimize myself. That, of course, I did that. I remember being here and thinking, like, I just don't understand why I'm so sad. And like just crying and crying. And I was like, this life is so easy. Like I still have a job. I'm like generating a good amount of money. I have new friends in this new country. I also have good friends back in Mexico. Of course, I miss my friends and I miss my family. But like I've been in situations where I change cities and I've never felt this sad. And I couldn't understand where the sadness came from. And this is something that I realize other people go through, but the reason of the sadness changes depending on each human being that is going through this. Because we all have different wounds, we all have different like traumas. So for me, going into that sadness, that's when the resilience started. Because like we always have two options, either face the darkness or like just stay there in the darkness and not acknowledge it and just hide it and pretending to be happy. But then you're gonna keep carrying all of that darkness and you're gonna keep feeling stuck. And
Yeah.
like I don't know if you've ever been there, Jeannie.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yes. I mean, you're articulating it so well. I think that, you know, resilience, you mentioned the transfer, you felt like it's more of a transformation. And it is that chrysalis. It is that, it's like you were a butterfly in Mexico. And then you had to go through the whole pupae, I think, stage and 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 develop. And then to get out of the cocoon, and I'm talking an inner thing, because you had so many things were perfectly lined up. Then you go to an area that, aside from your love, aside from your partner, and even that probably brings all kinds of changes too, because now you're residing together and you're in a country where um, English is the dominant language. Not that your English isn't excellent, but I mean, the whole cultural
Yeah.
shift is massive. And think of the weather.
Oh my gosh. I remember my first time that I spent like a whole year here and then I talked with Jeannie. I'm like, this is amazing. Like I never actually like understood the change of seasons. I thought it was like just this thing that you see in school, but for me it was like always summer, 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 a little bit of spring, fall, and then summer, summer, summer. But now you get to see the leaves change and then they fall and then the snow and then everything's dead and then all the little plants start growing back again. That moment of spring is so beautiful. And then the full like greatness of the leaves and like of the summer where everything's alive and then it restarts again. It gave me a lot of understanding of how the world works and even your emotional world works,
Oh, yeah.
your
Oh,
emotional
yeah.
self. But for me, this resiliency that I had to go through and this going into myself, it was very, very interesting because, like, I'm telling you, I couldn't find my sadness. I was like, where is this sadness coming from? Because I have everything, I have every single thing. And remember, I had to go into therapy and I will cry and cry, and I'll be like, why am I feeling this way? Like, asking different things, going deep inside myself. You know what it was? Funniest thing, because when I figured out what it was, it's like this sadness went away and I started going into this process of being a more mature version of myself.
Mm,
I was taught since a very young age that I didn't need anyone in life and that I could be independent and that I could be strong and that I should be this great, amazing woman that can do everything by herself.
mm,
And I had been in a process for a very long time before moving here to be able to have a partner because I would be in relationships where I was like the dominant one. And eventually, all of these relationships will fail. So I did a lot of like forgiving and like trying to grow as a person and like stop seeing men because I was raised by a single mother. stop seeing men as the enemy and start seeing them as my partner. So I went through all of that. But I think moving here was the moment of my graduation
Mm.
because I realized that even though I tried to do so much work, being here and being fully dependent in a man, because even though I was working and doing all of these things, I was living in another man's house. I was not paying rent. I was um, in an immigration way of speaking, I was dependent on him. So even like my position in this country depended on what he wanted. If we're eventually gonna like get married, if we're eventually gonna do this and gonna do that. And the fact that I was not doing it myself, that's what was bringing sadness into my life. That I couldn't let go and trust another human being to also hold
Wow.
because I
Mm.
needed to be held. And you know that for me was resiliency to accept that I couldn't do everything by myself and that I was choosing to trust someone with my path as well. And that I was involving this other person into my journey. And that didn't mean that I was not independent, but it also meant that independence is not just being by yourself and doing everything yourself, is being able to trust certain people and like welcome them in your life.
You're bringing to mind, I'm not sure what book it is that Stephen Covey wrote. It might have come out of Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, but he has he names dependence, independence, and then the overlap of those two, and that little center piece is interdependence.
Okay,
And that's what you're describing.
perfect.
And
I will
it
take
does,
that.
it takes a high level of, it takes a higher level of maturity to be willing to be dependent while still being independent on other things, right? And because your partner is exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
He depends on you for things that he didn't depend on before. And
exactly.
he handles
Right.
it. And so interdependence is a really high level of functioning partnerships, functioning communities. Yeah.
I actually want to look up that word now. Like look
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, because it names something that, yeah, it's a beautiful state of beingness.
I agree. I feel like this was one of the most difficult things I ever done. Um, and I'm telling you this, but it took me like 6 to a year, like 6 months to a year to figure all of this out. Where I was like, what is going on with me? And I could see the change in myself. Like I could see the transformation and the maturity of who I was when I got here and who I am right now. And it needed to happen for me. Like I needed to mature that way in order to be able to adapt to this lifestyle and to accept it. Um, but I wouldn't have done it with resiliency. And I think before I used to love resiliency and I used to romanticize it as this word that I am the one who's resilient and I'll do all of these things by myself.
Uh,
But I was still in my comfort zone while saying all of that. This experience took me out of my comfort zone. This experience really taught me that I was not being resilient. I was just living by a slogan that they sold me when I was little. And this slogan of being like the strong, independent woman capable of doing everything was just like the comfortable Sofia that knew what that was. And then the real resiliency came when it was just not just me. I had to be with someone else and I had
yeah.
to work with someone else.
Yeah, and I think the resilience portion of it is like moving through it, like intentionally moving through it.
Yeah. No, you're
because and what's crazy is exactly what you said. Like there have been times in my life where I'm wondering, what the heck, what, okay, what, I'm pretty self-aware. What is this energy? What is happening? And when you can finally name it, which is a TR principle, the naming, which that I learned what that was through Yvonne Delafleur, one of our mutual friends and teacher of mine. Naming it releases the next level of becoming. It's like all of a sudden you're not spinning on trying to put your finger on it, but you did some really important work. You went into therapy. You chased it. Like you were like, no, I have to know what this is, right? And
yeah.
it just like when you said, like once you got it, boop, it's so interesting. It's no longer a problem. You have an understanding and then you move through to the next level of evolution.
You know, like that, you just named something very important. When you don't name it, you feel like a child who doesn't understand why this child is like, you don't understand why you're so mad or why you're so sad. You just know that you're feeling the anger or the sadness. But once you name it, you remember, oh, wait, I am a grown up and I understand logical thinking and I understand stories and I understand the whys and the hows. So if I'm able to name it, my emotion has a reason. And if my emotion has like a logical way of me thinking it, then I can work through it.
Yes.
And I think all of that is resiliency, the
Yeah.
transformation and the acknowledging and the maturing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
And
a very strong resilience requires, I feel like it requires a strong will. And I
it
think
does.
sometimes in my life that will, like it's almost like a flame that starts to extinguish. And then I'll notice it and I'll be like, wait. Like I believe in being fully alive, or at least seeking to be, right? And so feeling my flame diminish, and that's happened a couple of times in my life. I get to choose. Like there may be somebody here right now that's like they're so lost in um feeling sadness or being depressed or they're just consumed by it. And
Yeah,
I know that feeling. I know that feeling, but I also know that if I don't intentionally start to acquire some tools in my toolbox,
yeah.
that I'll reside there. And I feel like resilience is like, it's like acknowledging that there's some work and stick to itness. You gotta, you gotta persist and persevere. But it's like, it's like you're in this cabin, it's really close and it's tight, and there's this one door you haven't opened yet. And when you find the door, you open the door and it's like this huge ballroom with like glass ceiling and light coming in and there you are, you're in the next level of your evolution because you can never go back. Because once you
Yeah,
name it and you know and you've done that work, and then you go, well, what am I going to do with it, right? Once you've passed over that threshold,
I
I'm sure
agree with you.
there's another one. I'm sure down the road. I've learned that. But
There's always another challenge.
yeah, yeah,
Like you can never stop being like growing and maturing and all of that.
yeah,
But I feel like you named something important. I'm not saying don't be sad and don't cry and don't go into darkness because I feel like all of that is part of the human experience. Like sometimes we have to go into darkness. I was just talking with Jeannie right before this. I'm like, feel like I'm going into resilience right now because I'm going through a house renovation. And like it can get so frustrating because like during the house renovation, we're doing like some parts of the work ourselves and some parts of the work we're hiring people, but it comes to a point where you're so frustrated that I'm like, I just go into bed and cry and I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this right now? Why do I have to be renovating my house on Christmas? Like Christmas day, I'm gonna be like doing house renovations. and like we're pre-recording this, right? But there's those moments where I just want to cry, but then I'm like, as you said, I have my toolbox. I'm gonna let myself cry a little. I'm gonna feel in darkness, and then I'm gonna come out and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, that's it. It's like a muscle. It's like when you first go to the gym and you're doing pull downs or your leg presses or, it's like it takes a while, but over time, you know the path to
Yeah.
moving through to the next level.
And I guess the first time it's one of the hardest
Yes.
because you're like, where's this toolbox? I don't even own it. And you gotta go to Home Depot and then you have to buy at Home Depot your toolbox, but then you're good. You're like, oh yeah, remember, I had some hammers over there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you start moving
And
forward.
eventually you have an electric drill in there. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, a screw's got to come. All right. Because it's like you know what to do.
Comes to the point where you have a whole workshop shed in your backyard
Yeah.
ready for you.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my God. Like all of this tools, metaphors that we're using are working so much in my life right now because like they're matching my life because I'm on renovations. My my house is like the another like Home Depot. It's like a little Home Depot right now. I have all of these tools, so
Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. Yeah, I have a comment. I'm thinking now about when my boys were little. Um, they were given so many toys from the time that they were like very young, and going in their bedroom was like there used to be a store in the United States called the Toys R Us, and it was
yeah,
just this massive superstore of like toys and fun things. And I would
yeah.
laugh about that. So you feel like you have Home Depot, and it made me,
You
it
got Toys R
reminded
Us
me of
in your
that
house.
time that I would be like, yeah, we have toys. Yeah, you have to weed some stuff out.
Yeah. You have Toys R Us, I have Home Depot. You know, we renovate our basement. We finished the basement and then now we're renovating the main floor. And like through all of these years of renovation, we just acquired so many tools that our friends make the joke that our house is Home Depot. And like every
That's
time
awesome.
a tool, they
That's
just
awesome.
were like,
Denny
yeah,
would be proud of you. He was a
oh,
tour guy. He loved,
I love it.
he believed that he would sometimes come home with some purchase. I'd be like, oh, what'd you buy? He goes, oh, it's a blah, 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 blah. And I go, oh, what are you going to use that for? He goes, I don't know. And I'd be like, you don't know? He goes, no, but I know I'm going to need it one day. And eventually it might be 5 years, he would be like,
It
hold
will
on.
be
And you go out and
really
he'd bring it and still be in the package. And he'd say, I knew I needed this. He believed in the correct tool for the job. So yes, yes.
he will be very good friends. He would have been a very good friend with my husband then.
Yeah,
He's the same.
yeah.
Like for Christmas, he usually gets tools. And he's so happy when he gets them.
Well, it's interesting because I like tools too, but my tools are more energy tools, right?
True.
But I understand it
Yeah,
because, the physical universe fixing things isn't my natural sweet spot, I can do it, but
very much alike. Yeah,
yeah, but I like acquiring tools and also tools that I can give to others that
yeah,
can help them, So I know that we have some people here following this. I know we don't have a whole lot more time, and you wanted to do a
yeah.
reading, but I do want to say that one of the one of the biggest takeaways from what you spoke, I think that's applicable, that's easily applied, is if someone is sitting in that space at this time or has been in a period of sadness or loneliness or feeling alienated, or I think reaching out to someone for help, whether it is a therapist, whether it is a coach, whether it's a friend, whether the key is has to be trusted, a trusted friend that can help guide, and that would be because you knew to do that.
And I always tell people if you don't know who to reach out to, you can reach out to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm this person online, yeah. Like, you can find me anywhere. My name, like, my name on social media is the Sofia Vibe, just like it sounds, Sofia with an F. And I can let you know what I did in my times of feeling depression, of feeling sadness. Of course, I will not be your therapist because I am not certified to do that, but I will help you find tools. Like, I will help you find ways of speaking to a professional. I will sit with you in the distance and like research like helplines and give you
Yeah. Yes.
like just reach out to someone. If you don't know who to reach out, I'm open. You can always send me a message,
Yes.
and I usually reply all my messages unless it's like spam trying to sell me something,
Yeah.
then I will delete it. But when it's real people, I will reply.
Yes.
And it gets better.
Yes.
I realize that it gets better.
There's a line from a book. The book is The Magic of Thinking Big. That's a well-known success book.
Yeah,
But one of the lines in there, I think it's in the third chapter, it says, action conquers fear. Action conquers fear.
I
And
agree.
sometimes it's the smallest action. Sometimes it's just a series of small actions. That's where resilience shows up.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need someone to hold your hand while you're doing it. Even if you're doing most of the work, just feeling like someone's holding your hand
Yeah.
makes it feel
Just
better.
the support, knowing that there's someone there. Hmm.
I agree. And now we're ready. I told Jeannie I want to do a tarot reading before we leave for the audience. And let's start it. We can ask, what is the advice that the tarot wants to give us for this day, Christmas Day, and the coming days and the coming year? What are things that we can work on? What are things that we can like learn? So let me pull out 7 cards. Hmm, perfect. I am excited. I haven't done a tarot reading in during an interview or recording or something in a very long time. So I am excited. I usually give private tarot readings, and I've been doing a lot of private tarot readings, but for our community, it's like the first time in a while.
It's very nice. We appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, it feels good. Thank you for this opportunity. Okay, so what we ask is advice on what's coming for the following days for the people who are listening. So the first card that we have here in this spread is the Two of Wands, and it's a card that it's going to talk to us about the past. It's a card that lets us know that we've been having conversations that were difficult, that were needed. Um, and these conversations that happen in the past have shaped our past into making the present where we're at. And in this present, we have a very beautiful card, which is the Empress. The Empress is like this woman, like as its name says it, the Empress that realizes that because she loves and she loves so much, she can give so much. And because she's always giving and caring, she's fully abundant. She's deeply connected to her fertility, that fertile energy that everyone has of creation. And because she's connected and acting from it, she gives to the other ones and she receives a lot. This is about our presence. So it's like a reminder of how creative we can be, of how big we can be, of how much love we can give to the rest of the world. And then the world will give it back to us. Something that we have to acknowledge in this present comes with the card of the world. The world is a card that tells us that a lot of the things we're going through are ending. And this is just like the end of like a cycle. There's different endings. There's endings that feel like when you have a very hard breakup, they're very abrupt. but then there's endings that are meant to happen. Like when you go from high school into university. It's sad, but you know you're going into the next chapter. And you gotta acknowledge that a lot of what you're feeling, it's because you're moving into the next chapter. And you might as well use your energy to realize what are the things that you learned and what are the new things that you're bringing into this new chapter and what are you going to keep sharing with the world. Makes so much sense that we have this card because we're literally changing gears. We're going into a new year and it's like acknowledge that there's a new chapter, bring all your knowledge, bring all of your lessons and apply them in the new. What is the hardest thing for us during this new life or this new chapter that we're going through? We have the card of the sun. The sun is that one that talks to us about being able to rebirth, being able to start new things. And it's saying like a part of you is kind of like resisting to the new. It's like saying, I am a little scared of going into this new life. But when you realize that you can give it into the new, you're going to start feeling like that excitement of waking up in the morning to that new day and seeing the sunlight and being able to take new opportunities. So it's like stop the resisting and let yourself be rebirthed completely. Once you do that, the card that is coming is the Tower. The Tower is one of the most feared cards in tarot by a lot of people, but I actually love it because it's the card that represents resilience and transformation. The Tower basically is telling you in this new life that you're creating for yourself, in this new chapter, you rebirth it, but you cannot keep carrying the things from your past. So if you keep holding on to them, something's going to happen. So you let go of them. So you either let go of them because you acknowledge that you have to let go of them, or the transformation is going to come as a storm and it's going to take away all of those things from you. So either way, you're going to get transformed and you're going to have to mature. If you get the storm that falls and takes away things from you, just let the water fall, let the wind blow, and then rebuild with whatever you have left. But understand, and sometimes when that storm comes, it can feel as a negative thing, but it's actually, once you look at it from the new place where you're at, you're like, I'm so grateful for that storm. I'm so grateful for everything that happened. So just let yourself be transformed because that's what the Tower is asking you. You're rebirthing into a new version of yourself. You're going into a new year. Transform and let go of what no longer is meant to be in your new life. Advice from Tarot. Take control. Take control of your life, of your decisions. You are the one, this card is called the Chariot. You are the one who drives this chariot. You are the one who tells the horses where they're moving. No one else has the right of driving it, only you. So start acting like it. You are the one who makes the decisions. You are the one who takes action. And I think the main word of this card will be action, like do things. And then the last one, I love it. We ask for advice for this community. And the card that comes is the Four of Wands, which says, as a final result for everything that we ask in this spread to know, it's telling us to look for opportunities beyond what we can ever imagine. It's saying like you have this belief that you're getting here, when in reality, you have the opportunity to get here or even higher. So stop setting yourself with limitations and be able to find all of these new paths that are going to take you even higher than what you think you can get to, which is beautiful. But to do that, allow yourself to change, rebirth, and transform, which all of that is resiliency.
It is. So it's a necessary ingredient, isn't it?
It is. And I just want to say for people who've never done a tarot reading before, when we are asking tarot, we are asking the spiritual world for advice and for letting us know how to navigate through life. Tarot is a bridge between the human world and the mystical world. So just take that advice for us to tap into a very enlightened mystical world. I do meditations before every reading,
Mm.
after to think. I do prayers. So be sure that it's a safe connection and that we can learn a lot from the mystical world, from our guides, from our ancestors. So yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Well,
And
thank
thank
you
you
for that reading.
for the spiritual world too.
Those cards were, wow.
I love them. Like this applies so much to what I'm going through right now, but it also I feel like it can apply to a lot of people who can be feeling like life is a little dark right now.
For sure.
And
Well,
I
thank you for sharing this time with us. And I know you're the Sophia vibe, but we also have a page that people can go to. And actually, in the recording, I think when I post it, I'm going to include your social media um, handles or whatever they're referenced.
yeah. Thank you, Jeannie, and thank you everyone who's watching and everyone who's listening. Um, this is such a beautiful space to come to and to share information and stories. I appreciate really this space that you created for all of us.
Yeah.
And I hope this space stays open for a very long time through the years and
I hope
every
so too. So far it's been like I think 9 years, maybe 10. It's
uh,
been a while. So, but I really do feel like there are people who heard they got some what I call nuggets, like golden nuggets from things that you shared. I certainly did. So thank you so much, Sophia, and we'll talk again.
thank you so much, Jenny. Bye.